everyone, and welcome back to the Aspie Bridge. We are about to embark on an amazing 4 weeks of talking about the very person who, for the autistic demographic, is going to make a big change in all of our lives. Because I'm going to tell you that this one individual has so many successes. And if you were to have asked his teacher way back when he was in second grade if he would amount to much, no. So these next 4 weeks are going to be starting with the story of Thomas Edison and going to my initiative, which I'm not going to give away the surprise yet. I want you to come each week to see how it unfolds. But it's proof positive. Well, as close to proof positive. We can't say for sure. Posthumously, you cannot guarantee that someone was on the spectrum unless they were diagnosed. But I can tell you, my mother, my father, my grandmother might also have been on that very same situation as well, because they were never diagnosed, but I can see traits within both of them that came down to me to show me that there are two sides of this bridge that all autistic people can stand on. You can stay in shame and victimhood and defeat and blaming and everything, or you can come over to the other side of the bridge with me and all my wonderful guests who come on to support me each week. So let's go with our usual tagline here with all the awesome Aspies that are around the world, autistic level 1 and some level 2 people who are capable of being fully functional independently. And that's where I draw a slight line, because those individuals who are autistic and require the care of family, I hope that they're in the same loving position that Thomas Edison was. But anyway, let's get back to where we were going. With all the awesome autistic level 1 and level 2 individuals that are telling you what the traits of autism are, such as Paul Micallef, who does autism on the inside, Orion Kelly, a late diagnosed autistic. They're both in Australia. We have Samantha Stein in the Netherlands, Sarah Hendricks in the UK, Temple Grandin here in the US, my wonderful psychology expert, Wendy Wickham Marsh, who's here, and all the other many, many autistic individuals who are telling you what the traits of autism are. The mission of the Aspie Bridge is not to give you the traits, but to give you the resources. The resources to help you know that you're not broken. You have a part of your life that needs to be fixed, but not you. You're not the broken part. It's a part of your life that you did not receive the information to thrive. You may be surviving, but you may not be thriving. But with all of my guests, such as we have Kathy Biggs here this week, and she'll be coming next week. I have 4 others that will be coming during this 4-week session. And they're going to help me to really paint the picture of Thomas Edison, because they were part of a wonderful immersion where we went to learn all about Thomas Edison and his laboratory. And that's what makes Kathy and Denise and Edna and Heather and Susan all a very important part of this, because we were all together on this wonderful immersion that took us right inside the laboratory of Thomas Edison. So before I go too far, I would love to have Kathy reintroduce herself, let us know what she's been up to since the last time she was on my stage, and then we'll jump right in. Hello, Kathy, how are you?
Oh, Suzanne, I'm wonderful, and that's my personal opinion, but I feel wonderful to be here, and I appreciate everything you're doing, and I appreciate your heart and your passion, and I'm just so proud of all that you're doing. And I am basically a transformational life coach and speaker, and I love what I do. I love having the opportunity to have open people's eyes to things so that they can see things from a different perspective and gain such value from their experiences because of that. And so to be here, and yes, our trip when we were in right there standing before the statue of Edison, I particularly am kind of proud because he's from New Jersey. He's from Jersey. And I'm from
Yes, he
Jersey.
is.
So we're a little different, but I take great pride in that. And I love that. Yes, in that laboratory, they say it's, what is it, REMSA, where the walls just absorb things. And it's just like standing in that space, knowing that this individual had such gifts and such powers, and he used his superpowers. He lit up our world. And so we have a debt of gratitude to him and to recognize the gifting because uh, what we would say, I don't know how I would describe myself. We have divergent and then we have undivergent. This is but the thing about it is, most people, I would not be able to do something 10,000 times. But with the gifting of being able to fixate and to be able to block out, gives some people the opportunity to see things in a different way. And the power of that is just phenomenal. So we got to harness the powers that we have. So I harness the power of being a big mouth and I use that to speak to people. And I also harness the power of being able to love people wherever they are at. And that transforms lives. And I'm just so thankful to be here.
Mm, yes, thank you. Yeah, that hyper focus that you were talking
Mhm.
about, that is definitely an autistic trait. And I understand it because that's what I do. I can sit for hours and everything can be going around me. And yet I can focus on a cross stitch project or whatever. My girls would often say to me, wait, mom, you don't like noise, but you can read in the middle of the airport. How is that? Well, we go into the zone, which is
Mhm.
really cool. It's almost like if you ever saw a black hole, we can go into the zone and everything around us just disappears if we can
Mhm.
get fully into the book. I mean, there were
Mhm.
days I felt like I was crawling right into the pages of a book. And that
Yeah.
hyper focus gift,
Yes.
absolutely love it. Love it. And so, as you were talking about Thomas Edison doing something 10,000 times, and as our a leader, our mentor, Mary Morrissey says, it's not failure, it's
No.
feedback.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
He would take an idea, and as the idea didn't work, he would say, well, let me try it this way. And so often I see that myself, and I'm wondering if you listeners see that in yourself too.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
fact that you can jump into a project and then the world can just disappear
Yes.
around
Yes.
us.
Yes.
So, Kathy, tell me what your feelings of what Thomas Edison really accomplished meant to you. And
Gosh. Well, we stood in his lab, and that building had been transported from New Jersey to Michigan, and Henry Ford did that, and Edison had said to him, "This has always been on Jersey soil. We're just going to leave it here." So Henry Ford dug up 6 feet of Jersey soil to bring to Michigan to put that building on. So just being in that mindset of people doing things that are unusual and we benefit from it so much. And so standing there in that upper room, they have his chair, his sitting chair, and he would sit in his chair with his, they called him his cat naps, and he had a bucket and a stone in his hand, and he would just sit there with his hands closed, I mean his eyes closed, and if the stone hit the bucket it would wake him up, and he would start looking and thinking again and allowing himself to go to that place in his mind, in his brain, a possibility, an expansion. He wasn't trying to figure it out. He wasn't left brain, got to figure it out, got to figure it out, got pushing energy. He was sitting in that place going, there is an answer. There is a possibility. There is a possibility. And he went to the land of possibility. And that's a great teaching for all of us. It's like when we can get fixated in the wrong way and stress ourselves out, or we can go to the land of possibilities and fixate on the possible instead
Mm,
of have to, need to, should, and all that. It just makes me just so grateful that he used his mother. Oh my gosh, at 7 years old, she put him in his own personal school and enhanced and brought those gifts up into to the place where he was protected also. And that's not something that everybody has. But the
no.
fact of the matter is, once we know something, we can change our opinion and the way we frame it. You were talking about guilt and shame and resentment and all that. All that serves no one at this point. You can't go back and change anything in the history. You can only hope to do better in the future. So what happens is, so often people get stuck in fear of the past, pain of the past, and fear of the future. And it's like, no, we've got this holy now. Let's just sit and think about the possibilities. And so I don't even know what the question was, but that's my answer.
Yes, no, that's exactly what I was saying for is because every person comes with a personal reflection of
Mhm.
how it touched their own life, and the beauty of this podcast is I used to write everything down. That would be the how was I going to do this podcast, what was I going to say, how was I going to do it. And that's kind of like what Thomas Edison was staying away from, is the how. Put the
Mhm.
how on hold, let the infinite bring the ideas.
Yes.
Now I have my notes of what the segments are about, but I don't have the word for word. And I think that's where we need to trust that the
Yes.
infinite is going to give us the ideas. We don't
Mhm.
have to be worried about, okay, no, I see so many people who are like, I gotta read this. And it's like, you come
Mhm.
into your own when you just let
Mhm.
it flow into your mind, because the mind we think with is from the infinite. You can't just create an idea and have it not be coming to you from a source.
Yes.
Call it God, call it the infinite, call it whatever, but those ideas are planted within you. I used to think, is my imagination also coming from them? Because we know that autistic individuals have this visionary gift too.
Yes. Yes.
Visionary gift that I often remember the lesson of the story of Alice in Wonderland that Mary talks about, when the queen says to Mary, so what will you do tomorrow? What did you do tomorrow? And she says, I don't know what I did tomorrow. It hasn't come yet. And the queen says to her, how foolish that your mind memory only
Yeah.
works in one direction.
Correct. Mhm.
As autistic individuals, our mind does go forward. It goes forward more than it goes backward, because in the past, some of you know that there's pain in the past. And do you want to remember the pain of the past, or do you want to think of the possibility of the future? So my mind always went forward. Let me see if I can create something better to get away from the past, or to leave the past behind me. In other words, I don't want to stay on this side of the forest anymore. I want to go to the other side.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad you talk about that, because the pain of the past, it, you know, we want to use it as rocket fuel, but we also want to have empathy. And that's something that, I know sometimes people on the spectrum have a little bit of different way of emotionally feeling things. I've learned this dealing with some people, and it's like, I just kind of ask questions, because I don't want to assume that they respond in the same way that I would, or somebody like me. And the thing about it is, when you step back and you ask a question and you just listen, it's very, very helpful to listen, because this teacher that Edison had when he was a young boy didn't listen to the gift that he had. And we want to have empathy for people, because I'll just tell you, Suzanne, I had a sister. She was brilliant. She was the middle child. Unfortunately, she was overweight,
I'm a middle
red.
child.
You're right. She was overweight, had freckles, was short, and red hair. You know, like they say, the redheaded stepchild. She was the redheaded middle child, but she was brilliant and an empath. She took so much stuff in, and she could look at something and she would read it and she could tell you about it 5 years later. She just had that photographic memory and everything like that. But back when I was a child and she was a child, we didn't have any understanding. My blessed mother, she had 5 kids and she was a widow at 27 years old. And she's got this special one in the middle that doesn't work like the others. And man, we had a rough time. You know, she ended up doing things she shouldn't, and drugs with, experimenting with drugs and doing all sorts of things. And the thing about it was she really never found her path in life because we didn't understand and she didn't understand, but she was a beautiful person. And the thing about it is, we have to understand where we are now. The past, we have to come to a place to take and transmute that energy, because energy can neither be just created or destroyed. So it must be transmuted. So those emotions that people feel, everyone, whatever it is, that emotion, that energy, emotion, energy in motion, when that comes up, we have an opportunity to transmute that into empathy towards those that didn't know any better, empathy towards those that were hurt themselves and hurt others,
Mhm.
empathy, and just really taking that, because if we stay in shame, guilt, resentment, any of those negative emotions, we are making ourselves sick and we don't even realize it. And so it's really important for us all. I don't care if on the spectrum, off the spectrum, whatever title. Edison didn't get the title. He didn't get the label. Let's remove the labels and come back to we're all human and slightly different from each other. And that's great, because together, when we collaborate and bring our strengths, oh my gosh, it's just like us here. Oh my gosh, we could do so much because we bring what we love to the table, and it comes out beautiful and it blesses people. And I'm hoping that everybody who hears this is truly blessed by it.
Yes. Oh, exactly. Exactly why I create this podcast is because one, it shows that it's not an us them. It's not a me you. We can meet on the bridge and we can have wonderful conversations. It's not about, yeah, there are going to be some people in society that don't understand. We need to accept that not everyone's going to like us, not everybody's going to understand us, but that's only because the awareness is not there. Not because we've done anything wrong. And I
Mm,
know a lot of autistic people think that, oh, I was too rude, I was too much, I was not enough, I was this, I was that. And it's not you. It's not
mm,
you. It's people not having the awareness of what your gifts are, which is where
mhm,
my coaching started out with this is I want to help you find those gifts.
mm,
Put the emphasis on the gifts that you have to offer and de-emphasize the challenges. Are we going to have them? Yes. I mean, I will tell you, as a torchbearer,
I do
I
too.
have them too.
Yeah.
We all have
Yes.
challenges, but if we're informed that we can work together, I've said so many times in the last 3 weeks, it's a hand for a hand, not a dollar for a dollar. And so often in this world of competition, of
Mm,
standards, of you must meet this expectation, you must do that, you must, the must are almost as bad as the should haves. It's why can't we accept people for who they are and the best that we can be?
mhm,
And so often I ran into such a person who refused to understand that standards aren't for everybody.
mm,
And just as I'm going to segue right into our conversation with Thomas here, the teacher, well, let me say, my leader said, I tried to approach her with a way to help me be successful because I think everyone deserves to be set up for success. And I said to her, I'm a personal shopper at HEB. Many of you have heard that story. And I go out into the store and I pick up the products on an order. Well, I like to look at it that for every order I complete, it's success. Check.
Mhm.
For every cart I bring back to the staging area, check. And what she wanted to do instead was, you're supposed to pick up this number of items in this number of minutes in order to be successful. Well, we're not all carbon copies of each other. And I'll tell you, I'm not climbing a shelf in a grocery store for a lady. But anyway, let's segue over to Thomas Edison. Way back when he was a little boy, he was sitting in class, probably being the best possible person he could be, when his teacher felt that he wasn't meeting standards either. And I want to show you this quick little movie to set the stage. Hang on for one moment while I pull this up.
His mother's eyes were filled. This was too small for him. Was a non-teachers for training. Please teacher outside.
Mm.
So I hope you all enjoyed that wonderful film. That is, I have to say, probably one of the smartest mothers I have ever come to know. Because she refused to allow society to let her own feelings of ego, to let anyone say to her and make her believe that her son was not brilliant. Imagine that. You have someone who is told by society, by education, that your son is uneducatable. And instead of accepting that belief, she supported her son with love. She didn't even let him know that that's what society thought of him. And guess what happens when that takes place? There is no shame. There is no pain. There is no feeling less than. There is no, well, maybe I'm not good enough. And I can tell you, there is no proof, and I will be very honest to say, there is no proof that Thomas Edison was autistic. However, as we start to unfold in the next 2 weeks, we're going to look at some of the different traits that have so many similar traits to all of us. That you can say, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. It's your call. But I can tell you, if you think about it very carefully, the spectrum is not a linear line. And while everyone may say, well, everyone has a little bit of autism, I like to tell people that everybody is unique, yes, but not everybody has the same sensitivities and sensory issues that others have. And if you think about it, some of us are all bothered by a jackhammer, but it's the autistic individual that can't tolerate it. So are you bothered? Or are you unable to tolerate it? That's where I think the dividing line is. And that a jackhammer is a great description of how to think about it. We're all going to be bothered. Does that mean we're all autistic? Depends on your sensory sensitivities. And that's where I think a lot of us who are autistic late diagnosed autistic, kind of get the raw deal only from the standpoint that people will look at us and they will not understand what's going on the inside of our hearts. And yet, when you have a supportive, loving mother who will not let you think that there's anything wrong with you, will stand up and advocate for your brilliance. Think of the possibilities. Kathy, what would you like to add on to what you saw in the movie, or anything, or even bring in the story of your grandson and how times may have been challenging to him, but with the love and support of your family, maybe he's come to rise above it.
Yes. From the video, it said at the very end he lived for his mother. He lived out of gratitude. He became the best version of himself. And so, out of gratitude, we need to, all of us, find those people and focus on those people that bring us life and believe in us and support us. And they're around. It's like uh, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers' mom would say to him, look for the helpers. If you get in a situation, look for the helpers. And if we will change the way we think, instead of focusing on the negative and fixating on the things that hurt or whatever, or we can't do, then we're going to hurt ourselves. So we can shift our focus. And when we put our focus on, there's helpers all around, there's possibilities, there's good people. And then just really just realizing, listen, every one of us is different. And I have had the same thoughts of you because I'm human. And people on the spectrum, maybe I didn't do good enough. Maybe I'm not right enough. Maybe I'm broken or something. I've had those thoughts. That's human. That's human. So it's this place where we take our fixation off of what other people think and we really start to work on loving ourselves, loving our gifts, loving our differences, and then when we get in a situation like you talked about a little earlier about at work, having challenges, when we have challenges with people, the thing about it is, it's like we can choose to just decide, oh, well, judge the situation, judge the person, and judge ourselves as all wrong. We can judge it all wrong, or we can take it and say, this is an opportunity for me to listen and see if there's any validity. Maybe there's something I can change, because the only person we can change is ourselves. We can't change anybody else. And so,
Exactly.
I listen. This is my spyglass. It's like when something happens, I take this out and I go, interesting. Isn't it interesting that that happened? And it's like, then I start to dissect it and look at it and it's like, well, what's my part? And what could I do differently or better? And it's not a judgment of, oh, I'm terrible, or oh, they're mean, or whatever. I don't judge that. I look at the facts and say, okay, what could I have done differently? Because I do want to get along in this world. Relationships are all around us and at all different levels. But the first level is to have that relationship with the power breathing us and saying thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for who I am and the gifts in me. And then go into the relationship with self. I'm good. I'm really smart. I'm really just really knowing who you are, because you're created in the image of the creator of the universe. What the heck? We're just different. We're just
Yes.
different. And it's like when we peel off the labels and just start to have some compassion, empathy, understanding, we can collaborate. We can, and I do have a grandson who's on the spectrum. And when he was very little, we went bam, bam, because I was raised in a school where, children are seen and not heard, that sort of thing. And all he did was talk, 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 talk. And it's like you couldn't shut him down. And the more you forced him, that was bad. What did I do? I called for help. I called for someone to help me understand. My poor mother, she didn't have that help back in the day. So if you've got people that are of the baby boomer age or before that, the builder generation, even the generations before that didn't have this language or this knowledge, they were doing the best they could and they had so many other things going on. It was just like sometimes we just get frustrated, human, and you were the target or that person was the target. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. So anyway, I got the help with my grandson. That was when he was like 4 or 5 years old, and started to learn how to work with him, how I could change me. And I'm not saying, I'm saying that we can't change anybody else. So if you're here and you're watching this, you want to be the best version of yourself. That's why you're investing this time, because that's your heart's desire. Well, just know that we all can only do the best what we can with what we have, and that's ourselves. The only real estate that we got any control over is in between our ears. And when we decide that what our situation isn't bad, and we don't judge everybody bad or ourselves bad, when we start to love ourselves and give empathy to others, we can start to collaborate at a level that brings our gifts together. And who knows, we could change the world.
Absolutely. I mean, after all, look at what Thomas Edison did when
Exactly.
believed in him. I mean, here's the thing for all my autistic listeners who don't believe that they have a right to shine. You certainly have a right to shine. And if you're not with a family that will validate your brilliance, find some. Find family. It doesn't have to be biologically sound. It can be anyone who shows a loving support toward you. Now, fortunately for Thomas Edison, he did have a mother that refused to listen to society, that refused to listen to the teacher. She was his support system. But I can tell you what would happen if she had decided, well, education says that you're not educatable, and I guess that's where you're stuck. I'm sorry, but that's where you're stuck. But she refused to believe that.
Yes, yes.
She refused to believe that that was where he was headed, was nowhere. She wanted to give him every possible opportunity. in
And
this
there's
book.
also something on the inside of us. There is a pull to the becoming of who we are. And Abraham Lincoln was not, I was watching a Netflix series about Abraham Lincoln. I love Abraham Lincoln. And the thing about it is he lost his mother at a very early age. And she was able to implant in him, you are wonderful, you can go far, you are capable. His dad didn't think that. When his mother died, the dad was like, you work on the farm. And all Abraham Lincoln wanted to do was read books and learn and learn and learn. And his father didn't believe in him at all. He was supposed to be on the farm and take care of the business on the farm. And all those books didn't matter to him. But there was something on the inside of him. And being human, we all have that something on the inside of us says, I was created for more. I'm supposed to do something with this gift. I'm supposed to share it. I'm supposed to, I have the capability. I just may not understand it yet, but every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. When you show up at a podcast like this, or when you take a baby step in the direction and you change a way you approach something for the greater good, every time you take a little tiny baby step like that, you are getting better every day. And we're just going to do that. We're just going to continue to take baby step, and we'll go all the way up Mount Everest,
Mhm.
one baby step at a time. But we have to come to a place where it's like, it's okay for them to be that way. It's okay that they don't understand. And I'm not talking about people who hurt you. It's not okay that they hurt you.
No.
It's okay that they didn't know better. They weren't trained properly. I take the pain of anger and resentment and all that energy, and I transmute it into a helpful way of thinking of it. So I get free of it. Because if I
Yes.
stay in resentment and anger and all the negatives, I am handcuffed to that person. But when I choose to unlock the handcuff and say, you didn't know any better, you had a bad experience, you didn't come out of the womb like that, being mean and ugly. And so I'm going to give you a pass. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't mean I agree with you, but I'm going to give you a pass because out beyond right and wrong, there is a field, and I'll meet you there. I don't know. I think that's Ram Dass, or I don't even know. But that really helps me because there's a lot of times that we don't disagree in our relationships with people close to us. And it's like, but the relationships are still important. And the only thing I can change is myself and how I view it, how I change and filter it. Am I filtering it through the pain of the past, or am I choosing to grow and up level and get better every day and look at it differently? And we all have to do that as humans, period. No, we are different, but we are the same. It's beautiful.
Oh, it is. And exactly what you're just talking about, Kathy, is I went through a terrible time with my mom up until this past Sunday
Mm,
when we had lunch again together and we met each other where we were both at. And that doesn't mean you have to go deep. It just means have a pleasant
yes.
conversation and just enjoy each other's company. Accept that you will not change that person.
Mm,
Accept that you're just going to be the polite individual you have come out to be, and just enjoy each other's time. And I think for the first time, I am walking away knowing that I did the best I could. But as Kathy said, don't let her handcuff you to her
mm,
beliefs.
mhm.
Because up until now, I had been handcuffed to her beliefs and my brother's beliefs that I will work a 40-hour job, I will work for someone else. And there is a feeling that we get, which is expansion, or what is the other word, Kathy?
Contraction,
Contraction.
contraction. Yes.
That's right. That's right. And I could feel in my body for the last 3 weeks going to work, working for someone else who didn't have the awareness of what autism was. I felt contracted. I felt like I had shrunk in some ways because I wasn't meeting up to their standards. But as soon as I got home, I'm like, I became alive again. I became expansive doing this work for all of you, learning how to bring about people that are influential in our lives that have the same challenges we had and overrode them. So if anyone were to say to you, "Oh, I'm autistic, there's nowhere I can go," think again. We will never outgrow autism, but we can rise above the conditions, the circumstances, and the situations that accompany autism. We don't have to stay stuck in all those conditions.
Yes.
Yes, you're going to continue to have sensory sensitivities, but yes, you're also going to be a great visualizer who can hyperfocus and do amazing things. It's up to you. Are you going to pick the good or are you going to pick the bad? Where do you want to stay stuck? Thomas Edison and his mother would not let him stay stuck in the teacher's viewpoint of him. They refused. And his mother, before Thomas Edison even understood what was going on, his mother had the awareness to say, I can either make this young boy feel terrible and tell him what the school really said, or I can raise him to be full of
Yes.
possibilities.
Absolutely. And for you, those of you that don't have that support system personally now, you do have a support system. We are for you. We're 1,000,000% for you. So you do have that support system. We're not connected all the time. That doesn't matter. Just know that if one person can rise above it, you can too. And we believe in that. With everything in us, we believe that you can bring the best version of yourself out, just like every other human, just a little different. And it's okay to be different. And it's like, as you change your attitude, different things will come to you. Different people will show up in your life when you change first. When you change, if we have a thing in our, I am not a PhD. I am not a doctor. I am none of the above. I am like Cliff Notes. When you go to college and you read all these books and then there's Cliff Notes, they drill it down to the little bits. That's with me. I'm Cliff Notes. So in our brain, we have the reticular activation system, and what it does is it focuses on the things that we think about. So we see it more often. Say if you have like you buy a new car, or you have a car, or somebody just got a car. All of a sudden you see that car all over the place. It's like it's common to you now because in your mind you've been thinking about, oh, so and so, and it just got locked into that reticular activation system. Well, if we use that reticular activation system to look for the good all around us, we're going to find it. And let me tell you, when I go to the store, I don't know how many times people come up to me and say, "Oh, I'll take that cart for you." Okay, thank you. It's because I believe in the good all around me. People come up to me in stores. I have a conversation with somebody and they're like, well, nobody comes to help me and I can't find this and I can't ask anybody and rant, rant, rant. And as long as you stay focused on that, that's what you're going to get. But I go in there and I go in and think, there's probably some really good people in here that really are helpful. I bet you I could find one. And every time I change me and my attitude, things around me get better. So just know we believe 1,000,000% in you. We know for a fact that you can rise above and bring those gifts and talents. And we know that you can fit into a world that nobody fits in because nobody feels right here. We're all discombobulated. We're all kind of like, why am I here? What am I doing? It's human to have those thoughts. So just welcome to the human race and we love you.
Absolutely. You didn't come to Earth to kind of sail through and say, hey, look at my life. You came to learn lessons. That's what we're here for. And we all got a different set of lessons. And some people say that some of us who are autistic may be the next part of the evolution of people that are coming. Maybe you're ahead of the game. What if you were to say, maybe I'm ahead of the game instead of behind? Think about what that just does to your whole
Yes.
mindset. Wait a minute. I'm not broken. I'm not behind everybody else. Be the
Yes.
next generation of, yes, As long
Yes,
as you can keep that in your mind, that perhaps there's something special, that I'm an evolutionary
true.
example
It's
of
true.
what's to come. Now you've taken it from shame and victimhood that you're different to, wow, it's cool to be different. It's cool
Yes.
to be this. Maybe you might even be the next Thomas Edison.
Exactly. I have it says, whether you're parenting, coaching, teaching, or just being a friend, supporting someone who thinks differently is a sacred job. And I take that for sure. Edison's life proved that different minds changed the world.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I'm going to leave you all with a little bit of trivia before I ask Kathy for her final words. Do you know what Thomas Edison and Abraham Lincoln and I all have in common?
And who was the third one? Oh, you.
Abraham Lincoln, myself, and Thomas Edison.
Were you born in February? Do I get a prize?
Yes. Thomas Edison was born February 11th, and Abraham Lincoln and I were born February 12th.
212, boiling point.
Burning Desire Day.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
I was
Yes.
born on Burning Desire Day.
Oh, how beautiful. That's why you light up the world.
I am the torchbearer, and for all of you who want to know, I have a relaunch of my book coming out under the name of Ellen T. Reed. Now, why change my name when I want to be authentic? Because that was the old version of me. It's like a caterpillar, when it gets wings, is no longer a caterpillar, it becomes a butterfly.
Yeah.
In my caterpillar stage, I was Suzanne Gardner Plumley. I'm now a butterfly. I'm now Ellen T. Reed. So you have to watch for that name in books to come. The next book I have coming is called The Autistic Heart, all about creating the love interest of your life and bringing
Mm,
in that love that you deserve, not the pain that you grew up with.
mm,
Kathy, would you like to add any final words about anything we've said
mm.
today to sum it up?
I think this has been such a honor, a privilege, so much fun. We love what we do, so it's always fun getting together. And like I said before, I just want to encourage, there's nothing impossible. There's nothing impossible. If you think that it's impossible that I could have a friend like that, or I could, yeah, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So
Right. It's,
let's get into the I can thinking. I can fit, in this position, or I just have to look from a different perspective and not shrink back. And you were talking about sensory issues and things like that. And one thing that I want to just help with is a tool that I use with my clients. And it's basically just stopping and pausing when you get in a situation. And we found the pause button, this, we call it the 11 or something like that. On your players, you hit pause, it's got two lines. I got the pause button, it's right here. So we hit the pause button for a second. When you start to feel constricted or those emotions rising up, pause, breathe. Just for 1 to 2 minutes, just stop and breathe and feel your breath. Feel how your body is in that moment, the senses. Take two fingers together and just think about the fingers for a minute. Just feel the fingers, the lines on them, the softness, the temperature. Just feel. Keep breathing. Just hear a little something in the room. Is it a clock? Is it a dog barking far away? Is there a bird? Is it air conditioning? You hear that? And then open your eyes and look. Been given the gift of a brand new day. What am I going to do with it? Am I going to let things bother me? Am I going to let me, or am I evolving every day in every way, getting better and better? So use that tool when you get nervous or frustrated or don't understand, just pause and go back to the gift of the day of life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for those words, Kathy. Yes, we need to help everyone. We need to help ourselves become aware of our possibilities. And it doesn't hurt to help others understand what will work better for you. And if you need to just say, hey, I'd like to think about doing this project this way. Maybe they hadn't thought of it yet. So I just want you to open up your mind and say, this is what works for me, and be okay with it. Because Thomas Edison took every try to create that light bulb, and he took on new ideas every time. That's what our minds do. Take on new ideas, accept new ideas. And I want to say thank you to everyone who came today. Next week, we'll look at some of the challenges that Thomas Edison did have. And just like with the rock and the rocking chair that Kathy was talking about, some of the ways that he overrode some of those challenges and how he used those challenges to his benefit. So I want to say thank you for everyone for coming today. And I hope you'll come next week when Kathy and Denise will both be here to visit with me to help you learn all about that. And perhaps Kathy might bring another story or two about her grandson coming to understand his greatness.
I will. I have more stories.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy.
My pleasure, Suzanne. See you next week.